pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This first part's going to be a work session. Call it to order, make sure we have a quorum. So Alderman Zinduda. Here. Alderman Brian Helms. Here. Alderman Kathy Bergman.
Here.
Alderman Rose Rosenbluth.
Here.
All right, all present. Quorum is. All right, presentation by First State Community Bank regarding options for jokers while waiting on our FEMA reimbursements due to some hiatus reading. If you want to give your presentation, you can. The floor is all yours.
So when thinking about the situation, there's probably two options, there may be more, but two options that would be very inexpensive and get you cash pretty quickly, what you're needing, and then it would be interest only on what your amount is that you're borrowing. The first one would be the kind of thought process behind this. The first one would be a lease on the pavement. So we would do the documentation, lease the pavement back to you for $150,000, and we could do a 5 to 7 year repayment on that lease. And that's typical, cities do that. The difference would be that you could pay that off at any time. So if you get your grant funds from FEMA in 2 months, pay it off. If you get it in 6 months, pay it off. If you get it later than a year, then it will just go into term payments. So, just in case this draws out a little bit, it is the government we're talking about. So just in case it draws out a little bit, if it takes 2 years to get your funds, then you've got something in place. Yeah. The other option would be what they call tax anticipation note, which is less than 12 months. So it means that you can take a 12-month term and you wouldn't have to pay anything on it. You would pay interest. We could do an monthly interest payment, or we could do an annual interest payment. At the end of those 12 months, though, it is a note. So in order for you to be able to take out a note, it has to be paid off within 12 months. So at the end of the 12 months, you would have to pay the interest and the principal in full. So it's kind of why the other option was if it takes longer than that, we've got something in place just in case FEMA doesn't come through with $150,000.
You can't roll one into another.
You cannot, not with the tax anticipation note. Now, you could possibly take tax funds and pay off that note, and then we could do another tax anticipation note for the taxes that you'll get the following year. But really, it would have to be completely cleared out and another need out there. So you're looking at probably interest on either form would be about 4.5 to 4.75. So interest rates have gone down a little bit. The only cost that you would have to do the lease or the tax anticipation note would be $120, and that's for us to file it with the IRS for you and to do a UCC filing on the pavement if we did the term, the lease agreement. Yeah.
UCC filing's like $20.
Yeah. So we charge $120 would be our total fees to do all of it.
Good ball.
So the interest is like $6,750. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then it would be less if we received our money earlier. Is that
Yes. So anytime you pay it off sooner, it's simple interest like, a personal loan. So if you pay it off sooner, if you get your funds in 60 days, you pay it off. You're only paying interest on the 60 days then.
for me to understand this, the other option we had, 12 months, that's a balloon at the end for the
Yes.
interest. And I was just curious, how would we budget that, right?
Yeah,
So,
ballooning would be a feasible option,
yeah,
not what we have on tax revenue wise.
yeah.
So,
And could we use the funds that we're waiting for, since we're in the situation created as a result of it being held up, are we able to use some of those funds to cover the cost of this interest on that?
yeah. When I spoke to Able before they shut like their communication down for the order. So anytime there's a lease or like a claim or deductible paid out, they pay that. Like our park deductible, they are going to reimburse us for that. That's already at state level, but everything's frozen. There's $19 billion sitting there. So, because until they get this all straightened out, which I'm hoping March 31st, but there's no guarantee. Like I said, yeah, if it's like you said, if we did that, that money would just go back to pay off what's left, or interest-wise, and be done. And then we continue on with the others.
And have we received any disbursements of those funds to begin with?
Yes, right before the freeze, so freeze, not including the insurance payout. I believe it was, let's see here. This is the park one. So, because it's not closed out yet, because it's not finished, but it's showing 39,029.18. That's what I'm showing here from the FEMA
But most of that goes to the park?
to the park. Yeah, that's plus, the insurance deductible and what they paid us on the park.
And I guess the contractor, Jokers, is pressing us to pay these payments of $150 directly to them.
Yeah, that'd be beneficial really, because they had meetings, as well, when you did that for me, with them, and Todd was with you, everything was squared away, when everything was gonna go just like this.
Right.
And I just sign it, and then when it's completed, sign off, and they just get paid.
And then how much more, because that was 500,000 or something like that, I think.
That's with asphalt. That was with overlaying after they put it in a new water sublines, but with now over here being an issue, and that, I talked to him earlier, so we're working out something. We left a 20% cushion, just in case there was an issue. You never know getting into this, so there could be some cushion, there could be none, there could, you never know. I mean,
And where are we in terms of percentage completed? Like if you do the 150 or out of 500, are we 30% done or 20%?
well, they do it by category. So culverts we're at probably approximately 90%. They have 160 linear feet left to do on that. And then, they're going back seeding, grading, mitigation, all that, after, like down here. So after that part, then they have the other part, because that's doing your grade leveling, and then asphalt widening, and everything else.
For 3rd Street.
There's multiple streets, 8th Street, 3rd Street, Cedar Street. I mean, these cutouts are sinking, there's no bedding under there. Our previous engineer, what's on the plans, obviously we all know it's not like it says, which has been a battle for USDA, rural development, and even me and Michael have fought tooth and nail trying to get this. But it comes down to us taking appropriate action on our end, which, yeah.
So can I?
Yes, sir.
So you've already done all your research on us.
I just got financials today, so this is, I need credit approval, which wouldn't take very long. I
Yeah.
mean, we'll look at the financials, make sure that you decide to go with the tax anticipation note. The tax anticipation note can't be more than the tax revenue, so
Yeah.
we'll have to look at some of those little quirky things, but, you know, turnaround time could be about 30 days. What we'll have to do is you would have to post the meeting where you approve the bid process. You'll approve us to do the bid. Then we'll come back with the documents and you'll sign the documents at that time, the resolution and the documents.
And that would be within 30 days.
Yeah, we could do.
And looking at this next steps here, so these are the things that you need from us.
Yes,
And you've been in contact with our clerk about
Yes,
these things?
yes.
Okay, good.
yes. So she got a copy of the letter, and the insurance requirements are the insurance that you currently have in
Yeah.
place anyway. And then, I have the 3 years financials, I got those, this morning. And then, we'd like to have an operating budget, but that's not a requirement. If we do the tax anticipation note, we would have to have it, because it's going to put this payment in next year's budget when you do
Yeah,
it.
that's,
Yeah. And then anything else that would support the project, so if there's particular areas that you're working, we would need addresses, and we just put that in our file. That would be, you know, asphalt as collateral. We're not gonna come take the asphalt, so, you know, it's, but we do, you know, we do file the UCC filing in that on the, if we do the lease, like the 5 or 7 year lease.
this, this is the only two approaches we have, the two options.
Yeah.
And tonight what we're looking for is we're going to decide on which one of these options. You want to talk about these options again, anybody?
That's, yeah, I mean, it's the work session, so we're more than happy to discuss.
Yeah.
Focus on.
You've done a great job explaining it to me.
Thank you.
Or I could understand it.
I have a question, kind of, if, okay, do you guys anticipate a quick turnaround from FEMA, or is that what you said, maybe end of March when those funds are available?
Well, given the last administrator at FEMA is no longer there,
Might be a while,
at March 31st, he takes over.
yeah.
Due to the fact I'm not gonna go really in political
Sure.
politics, but, Congressional Oversight Committee did put freeze on those because of over expenditures of somebody's desires, but, and so that's what that happened there. So to protect those disaster relief funds that were approved, they froze that for a reason. And that's, you know, and like my, point of contact points out, he can only tell me so much. It's a AI this stuff. There's no tell. He can just tell me what he was ordered to do, because, I mean, he's a federal government department, Homeland Security has absorbed FEMA as part of it. So it's
Yeah.
just, I mean, everything's went to the CRC, task force lead, and got approved. I mean, and then even the reimbursement on some things, and amendments got approved. So it's just, like I said, the park one came real quick. As soon as everything looked good, you know, they sent us the money, ACH, and it was there.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the reason I ask, it'll make a difference on what route you go, if you think it's gonna be quick, or
it's
it might
hard,
be more than a year, you may,
you know,
might have.
I have a customer up north that, it's a water district, and they've been waiting about 1.5 years, and their cost overruns now are about $6 million.
yeah.
So as they're waiting, the
The
cost is
keeps
going up, yes.
It's like, you know, a friend of mine is, Aldermen in District 5 in St. Louis, they're waiting on 11 million. That's already been appropriated. And then you got Perryville, Perry County's waiting on money too, St. Jen as well. I mean, we're not the only ones waiting on this.
It's all
Oh, yeah.
been frozen.
Festus is another one. I mean, we're kind of all at ends, and our contact leads, you know, they canceled our meetings and everything else that we're supposed to have scope-wise till everything gets kind of settled down.
Yeah.
So I guess let's discuss case scenarios. You know, there's two options.
Two options.
And this 12-month one, if it drags out to be 14 months or something, we're kind of at square one at the end of 12 months, and we have to pay the full 150.
The full 150 plus the
That's
interest.
the interest.
So that.
It could be a good deal if the money came in.
Yeah.
And so what's the difference in terms of costs in both scenarios? Like if something came in at 14 months versus 12 months?
So looking at both of them side by side, they're gonna be the same rate. We're gonna price them the same for you. The cost, the fees are gonna be the same, $120. So to me, it's almost a no-brainer if it was me, because my first payment will be in 12 months if I decide to do the lease. It'll be all interest for the year, and then it'll be whatever principal portion is owed. So you could owe the principal portion of a 5 or 7 year lease plus the interest for the year. Or you could owe the full amount. So in my eyes, I think I would take the lease arrangement so that if it doesn't come in until the 14 months comes about, I can pay it off and I don't have to worry in a year.
Then the lease is voided,
Yeah,
et cetera. Okay.
yeah. So the lease would be canceled at that time, once you pay it in full.
And then for us, budget-wise, you know, we could watch it and know what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, and like I
No
said,
surprise.
they'll come in, you know, but like I said, be raining there, that's why I told Todd when this got go, and, you know, we always want a cushion.
Mhm.
There's always things we run into, we don't know.
So for our budget, we'll be paying $562 a month.
Just,
It's
yeah,
just interest.
yeah.
With
And
no
you,
principal.
and with no principal, yeah. And you could pay it, you could wait and pay the full amount at the end of 12 months. Most municipalities do an annual pay, or they'll do a 6-month interest and an annual principal. So we can set, you know, that's whatever you want to do that.
And so with our clerk is up to date on this, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
And so I'm fine with the lease area because we know what's going on, you know. And in our projections of income and things, we can kind of handle it and with no problems, no surprises that way. Yeah. And knowing that we have everything that you're gonna need, you know, to close it out, wrap it up, my feeling is that our option number one is probably the safest way for us to go as a city, but that's just my opinion there.
So what is what is the extension of FEMA not paying within a year? Like, I mean, could it go beyond that year?
They won't tell me, I mean, you can read from my portal, it's a robot response. You know, I can read it to you verbatim, you know, and it's crazy because you can't legally talk to me like what's going on because it's the Department of Homeland Security. So, like I sent to Kent, you know, and Joker's financial board and everything, this is what was going on, I've been in touch with them, hey, and they've been more accommodating, you know, not charging us penalties. So. But, I mean, some of them is, if I go to my rep, I'll go back here and I'll tell you exactly what I get from them every time. Because I even tag them in, and it says, where's here, and this is Stotts Park, Naval. Because I tried the other day to get ahold of them, but due to the fact that I don't even know where it's at. And you've probably seen how many people I've been through with FEMA's structuring. Other municipalities have been too. So, but there's a possibility, yes, it could go, depending if you can get a budget. The whole reason was that former DHS person was going, it's all on the news, I mean, if you look, that Christie,
No.
No.
and you'll see why. They froze the disaster relief funds because DHS oversees not just FEMA, they do more than one department, so it's just like sucking the life out of everything. They go after 287G contracts, which counties north of us, south of us take advantage of for cop cars and money. And that's been allocated for that, just for immigration reasons, which this town does not do that, so that's, you know what I'm saying, it's not just here.
So I mean, I guess, have you, anybody ever heard of them? I mean, we have to have some kind of safety net to know that they're gonna pay, but we also wanna make sure we protect ourselves. But I mean, has anybody ever dealt with FEMA not paying, like, you know, several, longer than a year or 2 years or?
In your time, I mean, with dealing with municipalities, I mean, what have you ran into? I mean, I've seen it both ways.
Yeah. Usually FEMA's better than like the USDA and some of the other ones, so.
Because it's really state funding. FEMA approves it and it goes to the state, which is SEMA, and they're the ones that fund us. So once it goes to state, which, you know, Martina, once you revise, go through, make sure the numbers are correct, that's how I like the part. She sent it to me, is this correct? I looked over, yeah, it's correct. Boom. Within a business day, it was in our account. So, I mean, that's how that gets released. So they have a federal oversight and state oversight, and then like that.
Well, we shouldn't be worried about getting the money.
No.
It's been approved for us, we just don't know the time.
There's no time frame. I've asked and asked and asked and asked and asked, and then, CRC's the last end of it goes to state. So, and I think they knew something was gonna go and happen, but all I did is automatic replies. It says, thank you for reaching out due to current federal funding hiatus, and depending on the nature of your inquiry, FEMA may not be unable to respond to your message until the conclusion of the funding hiatus, and there may be a delay in our response, because they blocked out all of their email. Now, I did get a hold of him, and through personal ways, and he told me that it should resolve, because, I mean, we're one of 2 towns that aren't finished yet, I think, of payouts for projects of that year. So, but we had a meeting scheduled, but that got, shut down after everything. Trying to think what else.
The regional authority have any input in this?
Does Delta Regional Authority?
Yeah.
They're state, they're not
Okay.
federal, so
So
they,
well, there's 2 issues. One is the funding, and the other is our contractor who wants to get paid for the work that he's done now.
yes.
We don't, presuming that we don't have the funds to just cut a check to pay them
No.
off, because we've been waiting for federal funding in order to do that.
No, but you were correct. And the last message I got from him is in person, or a person that he knows through us, said, sir, right now, unfortunately, below is a response that I am only authorized from my chain of command to use. I had already sent your projects ahead of time up to CRC for final review. Due to the current federal funding hiatus, FEMA will need to reschedule our meeting. FEMA may be unable to respond to your message until the conclusion of the funding, or there may be a delay in our response. I would recommend for immediate response to reach out to your state representatives, which I did. Not once, not twice, and emailed some of our congressional oversight committees. I told Brian Wolfen and his staff was supposed to give me an answer 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, maybe a month now. I messaged him and said, hey, what's the status on it? I can print that off for you. He reads it, I get no response. So when we reach out to our district, representative, when we used to have Dale Wright, what else am I supposed to do? You want me to go to POTUS? I mean, I keep writing and writing and writing, and it's just like they're more worried about other things than unless it's a life and death emergency, that's the only way I can get allocated emergency funds. And right now, asphalt is not life and emergency unless the road's like hard, you know, so, and everything, but that's it, I mean,
So our decision for this, is that in this meeting or the one to follow?
we gotta make one call, because they're gonna be pulling out,
Oh, jokers?
yeah. I mean, they have a board of directors like you guys,
Right.
so Todd's been holding them off as long as we can, because we didn't think it was gonna go. And then it's just been back and forth trying to figure out which way this ball is gonna land, you know? And then boom, it started with just a small freeze, and then park money come through, we didn't think anything was gonna be really settled about it. They scheduled a scope meeting with you, come down here, and then all of a sudden, bam, they canceled the other meeting to follow up to finish up. So that's where we're at.
So is there any reason to think you're gonna need additional money to fund this before FEMA comes in? Or do you think this 150,000 is gonna get you?
To be honest, I'm not sure with what's going on over here.
That's what I was wondering, because I still see construction around.
Yeah, and but that's prior engineering, and it's caused a lot of issues, but it's all being done up to standard now. I'm trying to put it the best way I can where I don't put myself in any litigation purposes, but yeah, so given that circumstance, things have kind of went a different route because of flood mitigation. And then you also have FEMA flood insurance, and I got people that were previous administration worried about how raising everything up and doing flood mitigation was gonna affect their FEMA flood insurance when it was never done correctly in the beginning. So, but my thing is, it's a possibility.
So knowing that, we could throw a third option in there. We could do a line of credit up to the 500,000, whatever would fit into your budget, because if the FEMA didn't come in within a year, they would give me a year to do like a draw period for you all. And then at the end of that year, we would turn it into that lease arrangement. It would be written into the documents, and we could do that within a year. And then if FEMA comes in, you know, just like we talked about, we would have that draw period. So, of course, your first draw would be that 150,000 to Jokerist. Then the other funds would sit there. You wouldn't be charged any interest until you drew on that line. And then at 13 months, that line would turn into your lease payment that's on there. We could fix the rate now.
Yeah,
So,
the rate it is, so.
yeah, we could fix it now. So it would automatically do that.
Because, I mean, I'll be honest, total project, even after they met with you and with the cushion, you know, actual cost was around $550, somewhere around there. That's asphalt, the drainage, the elevation, emergency route, all the streets, all the repiping, everything. Not counting the grant money that's already been allocated and done, you know. But the thing is, these roofs, like where you're repairing it, is crumbling. They're throwing, you know, but that's for another day, another time. So yeah, I mean, total amount was 560, but we budgeted for almost 590 to give us that cushion, because you always want to give yourself, you know, not over, you know, too much, but not undercut yourself. Because you never know, like I said, I mean, that's, because you're gonna have 10% waste, but we've saved costs from helping them, and also reutilizing fill for over here for elevating that side. So that cost has went down some, but it's kind of trying to offset everything.
But on top of this 150 here, you're talking about a line of credit with a possible draw of 350,000. Then we could forecast completing the project.
That'd be totally complete, yeah.
and put it all into the,
And then we can submit an application to FEMA to reevaluate our flood zone areas.
But if things drug out that long, then the likelihood of completing, running it to completion, since we don't have the funds and we'd be borrowing it, would be marginal. Like, if I were the entity, that was needing money to do it, if I was seeing that the people that were promising me funds to complete a project were bailing on me at 18 months or something like that, then I wouldn't be going into debt another $350,000 to get to that point, because there's no way that I'd have the money to replace it unless I get a grant of some kind.
Well, it's any business, I mean, I see where your standing is, but, I mean, they floated us, and even with the inconvenience and everything else, and letting them use their machinery, saving us thousands of dollars.
Right.
I mean,
I'm just saying devil's advocate.
it is a devil's advocate, but they're the only company that's been more than willing to help us and, even come back and fix what we're not happy with. You know?
No, they've been great. I mean, I'm in favor of doing whatever we can to expedite their payment.
And they have a board and they have to, it's a family ran operation. It's not like, Bowman, which there must be some bad blood here because I was told by certain individuals it wasn't worth $1 million here. They weren't interested. So, I mean, and then the other company was just looking for how much money it was, not the quality. I mean, you can go cheaper, I guess. But like the saying is, you get what you get, but I mean, they take pride in their warranty, And just like up there, I brought the rock situation up, and there's spots they're going back to. I mean, last year they didn't finish, that part of the road and taper, and they come back and they're gonna get some more, and they're gonna do some more. And then we had 90,000 tons of asphalt left over. And then they went down and the washout down by the park, they put that down there just to hold it together to get it by. And then charge us nothing. So, I mean, it's, like you said, it's a devil's advocate. I mean,
Kathy?
Well, I'm going with 500,000.
Janet, right? What she was saying about that draw, having our arms around the scope of the project now, basically,
Yeah.
there's a limit to it. It would be awful reassuring to know that was there, even though we didn't use it.
Yeah.
And we only have to pay for it if we need to use it, would be, I think, welcomed, to say, okay, this is the project, we know we have the money there, we've got this coming in here, and all the way around the residents would be happy, knowing that we're gonna be able to do it. And regardless of the length of time it takes to get this funded, and we can say we've got our arms around this. That's fine.
because I mean, engineering wise, we've spent a lot of time on this, even before boots on the ground. And I don't even remember, like I said, the park was done pretty quickly, and then this took through. But, I mean, I know the asphalt was part of it, but we left that 20% cushion, give or take, so that may leave us with enough money to pay the interest on it from that cushion. Or may not, I don't know, depending on what happens here with Cedar, because it's not good, but we're trying to figure out the best way to mitigate that where we don't have to do what we tear the whole road out and redo it because it's halfway doing something. So,
So it looks like we're all in agreement.
I mean, bring up any concerns. I mean, I'll bring it up my portal and you can see it won't say, it'll just say, please contact your rep, which I guess is Brian, right? That's the only rep I know.
Yeah. So, for the purpose of this work session, do we need to make a motion to accept this? It would be option 3 then, right?
Yeah, it'd be option 3.
Option 3.
And then the next section, actually vote it in, because you have it slated here for resolution 2605 to accept the bank proposal for payment to Jokers.
Yeah, because, I mean, they've been asking for 2 months, 3 months now, I mean, that's why I'm,
So is it the same resolution?
yeah, same resolution.
It's just, we'll have to label it option 3, I guess.
Just to do an amendment to 3, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, now on the 3, on that one, is there any changes, or is it just the same?
It'll be the same. It'll just, we'll go ahead and issue a check now for $150,000. You'll have 12 months to use the remaining funds. If you don't need them, then at the end of 12 months, we'll turn it into that lease payment.
Okay,
Now, we could probably do, we would need the scope of all the projects, because instead of moving to some pavement, it would be the scope of all the projects, because that's what the
yeah,
total amount could be. So we'll need the scope of all the projects, and then we'll list those on the UCC.
which I have all that,
Okay.
the engineering, and then some of the FEMA reports, and then Jokers, actually, what they proposed,
Okay.
and their
And
engineering.
then for budgeting, will you give us an anticipated lease payment?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that with the 150,000 and then with the 500,000.
Yeah.
Which
And how many more projects would they still have?
So, okay, the first one, the culverts drainage was one, and then you have asphalt, which is one. There's 10 total, but then we nixed one because it was, oh, the plant. So that was kind of double dipping because we got that grant for $500,000. But they approved us for up to the point of award grant for all reimbursement of labor, materials, parts, and everything to that point. So that's in there too, but that's just gonna go back into our budget, you know, or for sewer. So that one don't count, so we're down to 9, and the rest are just, let's see, we got the flood in this one. Asphalt, flood mitigation to shore up, which they already did like 3 or 4 at one time, because one was a sinkhole. They fixed that, because it's falling through. Then the culverts, which you see what they pulled out, and then the drainage system. The ditching was a third, because it's separate from culverts, it's just flood mitigation down with an angle. The fourth is administrative. Anytime you guys had time looking at it, anybody's time, the scope meetings like what you took, we get reimbursed for that at whatever administrative wage or prevailing wage is. So, like Doc, you'll be higher because you're a doctor.
For what?
Because they classify you as a doctor.
Is this, I mean, consulting for?
Yeah, you get paid, anybody that's involved in this
Oh,
gets reimbursed or paid back, and the city gets reimbursed too, like employees helping them, forced labor gets reimbursed, that's category Z, that's at the final end. So they take everything together
for
and then,
helping Jokers?
yeah, anybody, or helping in general, like any meeting, phone call, text,
Oh,
or anything to FEMA, that all counts as time. And, I mean, so you take that, or you've had to go get something or like that, or take this phone call and it's an hour long, you get paid for that hour.
oh.
But it goes back to your time, even though we're elected officials and considered employees or whatever, but that helps benefit like the admin budget by going back into there. And then you also have what's called the forced labor account, or the tractor, how long it ran, you know, your machines, how long they ran. That's another category. You know, when they take that and they take the size of your generator, how many hours times that by that, and that's what you get back.
I see.
I can break down, but it's like 20 pages of costs, like you look up John Deere lawnmower, push broom, this many hours, I mean, they got everything on that. And going down, each one's got a code, so you gotta put the code in on Excel and then get all this, send it to them, and it's kind of a strange thing, but they've been helping, because we've been contract out. We've had forced labor and, you know, hauling and helping them. So that goes towards that amount. Yes, sir.
At our last meeting, we talked about the contractors and everything. So is Joker's, the general contractor subbing out to other people, or Joker, the contractor handling the scope of the project?
They're one and everything.
So all 10 of those are handled by Jokers?
Well, the park isn't, and admin isn't, and also just the road servicing, drainage, culverts, and ditching is handled by Jokers.
Okay. So has anyone else approached us, or we approached anybody else for any needs in engineering of these projects at all?
I put a solicitation for bids out and nobody hit. Even for this, we have money for this building allocated, as well as over here on the side the tree went in and the leak. And like above your head, if you don't see like right there, Brian, it's sagging because there's water intrusion.
Maybe I should move forward a little bit.
It's right up here.
You know, but that's where that comes into play, but I asked for mitigation, which doubles the amount of the ward. So when they do that, it just helps with the mitigation process and
Yeah.
everything.
So if I ask another question, you're gonna hit a button and that thing's gonna pop on my
I don't
head.
know yet. Then you have my phone, but
No, I was just curious, Joker's good people, we work with them at the church, you know.
yeah.
I mean, outside of the city, and they did a lot of work for us free,
Yeah.
just because they're members of the church and community. And I just think that the scope of the project's pretty big for one company, you know, but if they're detailing all this, we'll need to know the scope of the project for Janet here. They're the ones that will be producing that, or do we produce
Yeah, I
it?
can produce it to them. I can get Todd Weiler to get in touch with her. I can get in touch and we can send it over. I mean, some things have been adjusted since the original, when we dug down. Things that said it was 36 inches were actually 10 foot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and then we had concrete with sheet metal poured around 3 overs, tying them together.
Well, it seems like to me it's a good time for us to go ahead and get our arms around that, especially since Janet's gonna need that, we're gonna need that maybe by the next meeting to say, okay, this is where we are right now.
Yeah.
And this is what we already know. What's reassuring is the 3, because this clears everything up as far as where we're going. And so if we have option number 3 enough in our notes for us to vote on that? I mean,
We should have enough. I mean,
or we need just to repeat it, it's very simple.
yeah, we would just have to get change verbatim with which.
I was gonna say, if Janet could just repeat that, what it would be for number 3, and it's very easy to do, it's laid out here, we put it into our notes, and we can make a vote on that.
Yeah, I can do that.
And, no, option number 3 is what I need to ask for.
And that's a 150K frontage, right? Sorry, I'm doing just real quick for you. And then the 350, right? And that'd be the lease if needed,
It'd be a 12-month line of credit,
12 months.
and at the end of the 12 month, it would turn into the lease purchase agreement with I'm assuming annual
Okay,
interest and principal payment is what you want, okay? In the first 12 months, are you wanting no interest until the 12 months, or are you wanting to make a monthly interest payment? We can do it however you want. It's up to you.
if we're looking at having funds coming in to pay that, the temptation would be to wait. And do it as kind of a balloon at that point. But, you know, everything's unsure, but the safest way to do it would be to pay it in payments.
Yeah, I would think monthly, because
For us.
in the likelihood, uneventful likelihood that it stretches out, then you don't have a $6,000 hit. And we've already prepaid it, and it's easier to budget because it's part of the monthly thing, and it doesn't encourage spending because you know that you have a $560 whatever monthly payment, that you have to make every month, so you're not gonna keep companies and people have a tendency to spend what they don't have, thinking that they'll have it later.
So that number that you're mentioning, is that principal and interest?
That's interest on
That's interest.
150,000.
Interest.
So then at the 12 months,
Yeah.
do you want to turn it into a monthly payment if you have to? Or do you want to make it an annual payment at that time?
Annual balloon payment.
Oh, we'll do the monthly payment after that, at that point, I think.
Yeah,
You got the
4.5%.
calculator
monthly's
right
easier
now?
budget,
That
or,
one.
I would think we paid monthly from the get-go,
You can
Okay.
put one of the
but
150
that's, we
Yeah,
haven't
just do
voted
the
on it.
We have the option.
or 3 years, 5.
You want to do 7 years?
Yes, let's go to 7, and then that'd be the longest.
So on the 7-year, on the 150 at 4.5%, principal and interest would be like $2,085 and some change. So basically $2,090
And that's monthly after
after the 12 months.
12 months.
and that's using the full amount, or just the hundred?
That's the 150.
That's
The 150, okay.
Now, during that period of time, if we spend the 150, we would draw on the 350, and we would not start paying on that at the end of that first year.
You would, if you're doing monthly interest payments, you'll start paying on it the day you draw it. So if you draw it today and the end of the month is tomorrow, you'll pay 1 day's interest for that month.
Okay.
And then the next month you'll pay however many days you, so it'll be a daily interest.
So our thing for payments would be, this, we have to pay the interest in that one payment, interest payments, or interest and principal payments?
Well, the interest and principal payments would start after the 12
After
months.
12 months.
Yeah, because you'd have the 12-month draw period, and then you would go to your repayment period.
And that would be the $2,000.
All 150, yeah.
Excuse me. It seems like to me, the safest thing for our city to do is to put it into our budget and have a payment after the 12 months. So we know, the other thing is that money could come in and we don't have that happen at all.
Yeah. You may be coming in a couple months and.
Yeah, I love being able to put it in the budget though, so that we know in a year that we have to have this money available for a payment, and we know what the payment is, and basically, I'm getting our arms around. And that would be in option 3.
Yes.
Which gives us the extension of $350,000 to draw on.
Yes.
I'm comfortable with that. I think for us, as far as our budget goes, that's a good thing.
You're saying pay from the beginning of
Not just pay at we're saying at the end of the first year.
the month. At the end of the first year, it's not gonna be $500, it's gonna be $2,000.
Exactly.
So you're saying you're not making any payments all year.
Well, that's not in our budget right now, but it could be. We can plug it in there, but,
Yeah. Go ahead. Oh, so I would, if it's not in the budget, then another way to approach that would be to still take that money and put it in a reserve account or something, so it's available at the end of the year, because we're gonna have to pay it anyway. At the end of the year, we're gonna have to pay $6,000, right?
No, at the end of the year, if you only draw the 150,
Yeah.
then you're only gonna have to pay,
principal
the
interest.
principal and interest starting the 13th month.
That's if you pay the interest monthly through
Yeah,
that
through
first
that
year.
first year.
If you did pay this monthly.
So you could do a couple different things. You could adjust your budget now for your monthly interest on that 150,000, or you could wait and pay that interest next year, so you don't have to adjust your budget. It's up to you.
Yeah. And that would be a lump sum, $6,000, we're just talking about that being in the $2,000 payment.
Well, that would be the 500 a month. If you did want to pay 500 a month and adjust your budget for
Yeah.
this year, for 2026, or whenever, when does your fiscal year end?
September.
September, okay. So you'd have to adjust it now through September to get your budget to match.
Yeah.
And then September, when you would do your, how many months interest until our 12 months is up, and then you would do your principal and interest payment. So you have a little of both next year.
Yeah. So, I think what you're saying as far as going ahead and putting that $500 interest in the budget now,
Yeah, either one way or the other,
yeah,
just so that it's a done deal and we don't have to deal with it at the end of the year
yeah.
and, you know, come up with extra money all of a sudden, because we're riding high in a couple of areas
Yeah,
and administrative stuff already.
but when we start working on our budget in August or September of this year, we would still have time to put this total thing in our budget and have that whole 12 months to check could come in. We can put the money in, you know, something else, but, so those are the options. But,
And you got other board members? Input?
I mean, either way, I mean, because like you said, you can't, I was just to put the money aside, if we're not doing budget, redo our budget, put that money aside into an account, so we have it there.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, we're technically budgeting in there, but we're not making the
Interest payments.
interest payments and,
the thing about the budget though is we're having an opportunity here, since it's not in our budget now, to put it in the budget for the next year and have it ready for the payment of $2,000 if we have to, and not put any money out right now, and at no risk, really. We could get the payment, but we for sure know that we'd have the money in there for the payment of $2,000 something at the end of our 12 months. So, but either way, we're gonna pay it. Just right now, we're in the middle of our budget year, and we didn't budget for this.
Right.
$500 something. Not that that's a lot of money, but we have money designated for everything else, and I think it's a wonderful thing to be able to have that opportunity. And, but, you know, we're about to go through a budget process in a little while, and knowing these facts now, if Janet can put together that for us and get it to the clerk, we can have that ready and put it into our budget, and we can go from there.
All right.
So
Yeah,
you've
who will
got-
my signers be? The mayor
Yeah,
and who's the secretary?
you can Jess and,
Our mayor pro tem,
or and Scott and Aldermen Zen do not. What is this? So it took 4 days to find this. I was looking at how long it took from when they got to the state and funding from CRC, it was 4 days until it hit our bank account.
For the other thing?
Uh,
For the other thing?
For the park. As soon as they got it from bank, it was,
So it's almost immediate.
yeah, it was 4 days after, just 2 days just admin review, and then the rest is just the bank transfer, you know, like an ACH into our account, so.
so Janet, when will we close on this? We sign these papers and stuff like that.
So what does the posting look like tonight? Did you have,
Did you get option number 3 in, is what you're saying?
no, we could put, yeah, we'll put option 3 in there, we'll get a copy of the minutes, and if I could have just your posting.
Yeah, we can do that.
Then you can probably close at your next meeting, I'll email the resolution that I'll need signed, authorizing who will be the signers. And then, I can do the documents in about a week,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, because they're on me, they're not having, me and their son's been holding them all.
So you say another month?
No.
Our next meeting is next month, but
The next meeting is at 7 o'clock.
oh, that's true.
Yeah,
But we,
I can't do it that quick, I'm sorry.
but we can call a meeting for that.
Yeah.
And go ahead and do that. I guess my concern is that have we articulated this option number 3 clearly enough for us to all understand what's going to happen and what we need to do on our next budget, and where we have a line item for the bank here? And we know that, and I know that you're gonna put all that down, but are we comfortable with that, where we can vote on that this evening, so we particularly can move on?
Yes,
Yes.
Option 3?
option 3.
Okay.
Does anybody have any reservations? Anything? I mean, now's the time. I know it's kind of a heavy thing, but I mean, I'd anticipate that shut down like anything else, but I don't control the federal government at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, formally, it would be, we were not making any payments. Informally, like, you know, I guess we'll just monitor the budget, and if we have money to set aside for this, then we should.
Yeah.
And then we'll have it available in September for the rollover occurs,
Yes,
budget-wise.
so,
And for Janet closing this out, she's still gonna need the scope of the project, right? And you're still gonna need the same things that are here. Do we?
I have that, and
You
I'll
have
go
that,
through all the
okay.
emails with the engineer from Jokers and also Todd, showing every step, what they plan on doing, and I can email each one if that's okay with you.
That'd be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it'll be proposal and work related, will that be fine enough
That'd be
with the
fine.
breakdown? Because people wanted it broke down separated, so I got different separations.
Okay, no, that would be fine.
Okay.
So the best thing about this is that we can move on forward with the projects.
Yeah.
And I feel good about,
Yeah, that would be good, because I mean, you know, even tonight, you know, I got a message from Ken asking, I was like, I got a meeting, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
yeah.
And I don't know if there's a way to, you know, tell them, 'cause they haven't charged us any late fees or anything. It's kind of been kind of contract and go, because we've been running into issues, but, if, you know, hopefully, once we get this and just amend the option 3, we'll be able to, get that done, signed, and then get that going, and I'll let Kim know that it's good,
And then, as a corollary to this, after they're paid, I'm assuming that the work, ongoing work will be suspended until we get our funding, so that we go deeper in the hole, or?
I'm sorry, I'm not following.
Well, we owe them $150 for the work they've done up to date, right? So now we're gonna pay them, but then there's this residual work that's gonna be done. So will that work be set aside until our funding comes in from feds, so that we don't acquire additional debt that we'll have to
I
spend
don't
more?
think so, because, I mean, they still have 160 linear feet to put in down here, and a couple other things, they're not done yet. So well, that's just what it comes to. I think if we get a letterhead from the bank or saying, hey, this is what's going, this is what's going on, I think that'd be beneficial, and I can send it to Ken, kind of reassurance on their board, and then, hey, they can continue on with what FEMA approved and proposed. Is that what you're trying to get at? Or are you wanting to stop?
I'm thinking hold off until we get our money, so that we don't put ourselves in a position where we have a large debt at the beginning of next fiscal year, and that we may not be able to pay easily.
And I guess I'll just tell them after this to spend their project and pull out.
I think,
Well, I don't know, I'm just,
That's what they're gonna do, because they're
let's
not
go
gonna
ahead
leave
and
their
finish
stuff
the scope of
here.
the project though. Let's go ahead and put that all down on paper. And, because we ought to be able to move along, you know, some other kind of way. It might not stop the project, we might reduce it in some areas and pick it back up again when there's some money there, and you go like this and eventually get it done. And like you're saying, we still haven't finished the footage out here,
No,
and they've already, I mean,
they're
they haven't built us
contractors.
for it yet, or they're gonna be building, or is that?
They will be building us,
Yeah.
for it, yeah.
So I don't think we need to necessarily stop, but we do need to look at the scope and get our arms around how we can adjust that ride.
Yeah.
And then what we have here is a cushion in the event that we have to dip into some more funds, get a little further down the road. We don't have to spend all that money at one time.
No,
You know, we only spend it as we need it, so we putt along with that project a little bit and pull a little money here and pay a little project, and then, you not have to spend the whole $350,000 extra there.
yeah,
So, you know, just because it's there, it doesn't mean we owe it necessarily. She's saying, draw on it, and pay what you owe is.
as needed and when projects.
And then, of course, we have the windfall, that's knocks that out anyway.
Because, you know, I can't predict the future of, you know, DHS. I don't think any of you could. I mean,
But as far as the process goes for the bank, I think just getting the information that they need kind of gels up us really knowing what's going on with that scope. You know, I mean, really having getting it down, adjusting it. They're finished at this point, you know, and now we've got this to go and do. They'll do that, right, in their scope. So what have we done so far? Where are we right now, and where do we need to go? It should be kind of in our budget anyway. And that draw is really gonna help us if we need it.
so if I can get there and say, hey, this previous project allocated for culverts, flood mitigation, all the drainage is 100% complete, then that can go back to pay that, which would open, you know what I'm saying, that line of credit. Because they still have asphalt and other projects scoped out. And like elevating this bridge over here for flood routes so people can get out. But I mean, that's just part of what you know, I got everything in there, what they propose and what FEMA wanted done. But it's depending on what you guys decide, I guess.
And what needs to be done first, second, third. I can understand your concern, Dr. Dudon, that we don't want to, all of a sudden surprise them that we can't afford this, but I think the cushion is there, and baby steps to complete the project. And we may not have to draw $50,000 for something else, if we have partial monies coming in. Just one other question for me, on these monies that are coming in, is it generally given to us all at one time in a lump like that, or do they set up? It is good.
I got the receipt right here if you want to see it.
No, I'm cool, I just wanted to know that.
Yeah, there's lump sum. That was the first one that came on one time,
Good.
so.
Sounds like to me we got a project.
So, but yeah, that's fine. I mean, whatever you guys decide, I mean.
So can I bring this to the floor for a vote on this option number? Proceed, or how do we do that?
Only when we get out of work session.
Oh, okay.
When the regular meeting, and then, we can do that. I think it's on the agenda, isn't it? Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, it is. So we'll just have to do an
good.
amendment of changing it to option 3. Yes. The rest of the verbatim will be the same, so.
I better follow our agenda.
So, that'll work.
Yeah. And our clerk has got that information down for us to review.
Yeah. So. Like that. So. Let's see. So we got that taken care of, so now with option 3, does anybody kind of talked a little bit over ordinance 420, establishing owner use responsibility over damages and to, you know, water and sewer utilities and burning grinders up, and the city's eating all these fees and, you know, causing us a lot of money that are not necessarily feasible. I mean, I think Frankie and me has beat it to a dead horse.
Thank you.
I don't know how many times.
Thanks for coming back.
But I didn't know if you guys want to say, but thank you, Jess.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jess.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch.
Okay.
Thank you. So, I don't know if you want to talk about that, go into a regular meeting, or
relative to the ordinances that were reworded at our last meeting. Is that right?
Yes, you guys put in input, so Jess went in and added just, what you guys thought would be better and kind of an ordinance to clarify the municipal water sewer system. We do publish the water, furnish the water and sewer, but it does define it to a T. I mean, it really does, but we have some people taking advantage of it, and it's cost us quite a bit of money. One person in particular, probably on their fourth one. So,
You talking about grinder?
yeah, damage to the grinder, and then some of these, the whole proposal for putting the water system in was to make it less, costly for the city, but when we're responsible for 67 feet of water line, and the residents responsible for a foot, I think that's just a little bit crazy, especially with subpar copper that's been proven. So, most cities are already doing this. We can go to somebody, where should we get this? It's just add to it here.
So are you, in this last phrase on the first page, says these components include but are not limited to discharge lines, grinders, electrical boxes, laterals to the residents, wet wells, and all related appurtenances up to and including the point of connection to the cities,
Connections,
to the city
that'll be a court stop.
sewer main.
Yeah, that'll be where to the court. There's a court.
So this is stating that the resident is responsible from everything from the main. Is that right?
That'd be from the court outside the main, where we discussed if you go with a certain amount of fee, but, for what we're dealing with, and, it's your guys'. I got a piece in the back of my truck that was supposed to be all new copper, and there was a union just down here in the road that Joker's hit, and that was supposed to be all the way across. And the court stops at 12, not 45 degrees. It's a bit of Charlie Ray and bullshit engineering. I'm sorry for my French, I'm just tired of dealing with this stuff. This costs us way labor, and yet they get paid out $800,000, and yet this is what you all pay for.
Yeah, this stuff, it's a separate issue, but there are other municipalities that have used them with similar bad feelings after the fact. And probably we need to get together with them and file a class action suit against them for workmanship that's turned out to be substandard.
That would take probably a more proactive
Yeah.
legal aid. That would, yeah.
Is ordinance 26001 the existing ordinance?
That would be the amendment
This
to
is
the
the-
verbatim, changing just from the city being responsible to everything, pretty much, except for what's going in your house.
Okay. So that's the difference, I guess that was my question.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't know
Now-
from reading one to the other what the difference is from this document.
If it's failure on the city, yes, we'll replace it. If it's a failure on the warrant, like some of these, all these E1s have warranties. If it's a natural failure, we've had one. We have parts on hands, all the guys are certified for E1, to replace and do it in-house. But, like the water lines, or somebody's digging or some in their yard and don't call, it's just protection. that on the map down there, when we did across here, it said the line was 36 inches. We went down 9 foot and it was still diving. That's wasted labor when we could just ran a new line and just tied it into, put a new bed next to the road. Because Miss Cher only, like I said, had 12 inches to her house from the meter, and we had 67 feet. So we endorsed 67 feet, rental equipment, plus fill, plus time and labor, you name it. Over what? $20 with copper? That doesn't make feasible sense to me. Does it to you? I mean,
Yeah, so for the sake of the resident who doesn't have an opportunity to read this, we're going to be saying that these are the things that you as a resident are going to be required to maintain as far as your sewer and water lines
Yeah.
go. And this is what the cities are going to be able to do.
yeah.
We have an aging town with an aging infrastructure and aging, grinders and everything else. At what point are we going to take responsibility as a city to tell these people that this is what we were responsible for? Not a vagueness about it, but if your grinder goes, we're going to fix it and we're going to replace it, because if you have nothing to do about that grinder, if you did drop something in there or mess it up in some kind of way, just the fact that it's an old grinder, do we replace it, or does the...
We replaced it,
We
yeah.
replace it. I think that's what we should tell these people.
Which is
The things that we actually will do for them, and so I would be okay with a balance between what the city does and what I need to do if I knew exactly what those things were.
Ordinance 420, that
Yeah.
30-page ordinance pretty much explains all this is doing is adding more to it, saying, to that gray area,
Mhm.
where we're not being taken advantage of. And Frankie, if you want to reiterate on this, please do.
So anyways, the way a lot of communities do it, and I know St. James is one of them because we dealing with that, and plus a few other communities that we deal with do the same thing. So anyways, what happens is take for instance, over here, shares over here, a foot right outside the house, and then the rest on the backside of the meter is our baby, and that's our cost. There's a lot of houses in town here that has a really long run to the meter. I mean, the meter is basically right next to the house. So basically, back in the day, I'm going to say, don't know, handshake, of doing the job or whatever, community-wise. Basically, people place the meter where they want to place it. So the thing about it is what that's taking a toll on for us is we have copper in the ground, anyways, and stuff like that on our side of the meter. They have PEX, they have, copper, they have galvanized, whatever they have on their side, that's their side. But the situation is, with the whole picture of this, is the meter's in a right-of-way, so your main is in a right-of-way. So main's out here in the middle of the road, or whatever, or on the shoulder of the road. So that is our right-of-way. So 15-foot easement, whatever you want to say it is, across there. So the thing about it is that meter's all the way up by the house, and we have to replace that line going to that meter. So just take this example of this one over here. It took us 2 days to get this replaced, and it was not messing around. It was trying to salvage what we could, but the depth of the line was not right. So we're diving underneath and I understand diving underneath a ditch. Diving underneath a ditch, okay, I understand diving that. But when we kept going down almost 9 foot, that's uncalled for. And anyway, so we just severed the line at the main and ran it across. The other application is that we noticed too, when we was doing that, the water line is supposed to be above the sewer line, but it's supposed to be within 18 inches. Well, the water line is sitting right on top of the sewer main. That's a no, that should not happen. They have to be 18 inches apart, or turn around 10 foot wide apart, or turn around, it's got to be replaced. Which we fixed that situation over there to make it to be in our standards. So anyways, but the thing about it is, with us having to run that, which we ran PEX. PEX is about as good as copper. It's going to last my time, your guys' time. I mean, it's going to probably kids' time. It's going to last. But the thing about it is, I know, Mother Nature and everything, the ground quantity and everything, the specs of the ground, the assets itself will be covered. But the thing about it is whenever we're sitting here having to go all the way to that house, and like your meter, Brian, is right there at the main. I mean, all three of them meters are right there at that main. They're within a foot of right away. So the thing about it is there's quite a few houses that's got that. But take for instance as the old Loren place up there,
Yeah.
the meter's out way out in the middle of the yard.
Yeah,
We're probably 200 feet of line right there from the main. And then take for instance as in Doc Hellman's old place up there. There's 2 feet of line right there that we are responsible for, and which it should not be, as in we should be totally responsible for that.
I'm getting you now. So from where the main is to the house
Yes.
is the responsibility of the resident.
Used to be the city.
Yeah. And you're saying that we need to put all this in some type of order
Yes,
here.
so technically in reality, so our meter pit from our main to that service line, to the back of that meter, to the meter, once past that meter, that is the homeowners on the other side.
Yeah.
So anyways, we take care of the meter. Now, grant me, there is ruling where, hey, we know a freeze is gonna come along, insulate your meter.
Yeah.
That's your responsibility. That's not, shouldn't be our responsibility totally, but that should be yours. But the ground depth. And anyways, that's what we try to make sure we're down below that frost line
Yeah.
whenever we got meters in. But the thing about it is, if we get a leak within this 60 foot and it's in your yard and we gotta replace it, then that's in your yard. We're 50 foot inside your yard. So the way St. Jen's got their ordinance, we own within a foot inside the property line. So once it gets past that foot of the property line, then it's you. Now, I do know there's some towns that does half and half.
Yeah.
With the residents, they're responsible all the way. Other towns, so that's my thing about it is, I mean, we're sitting here, you're getting a free ride of us putting a whole brand new line through your yard.
Because the meter's way into your yard.
Yeah.
I'm understanding that now, I can kind of pick that up and reading this. And what we're trying to do is make that a continuity for everybody, is saying that the meter outside of the main is your responsibility, your meter.
Yeah.
Work from the main to your meter to your house is your responsibility.
For the court, yeah. And like he said, they do and when I say court, it's typically, but,
Yeah.
that's where the shut off is to the main. And so, but it's just turning into, we're eating all these, replacing it with better than it ever had been, but eating all the costs. But then we're asked, well, why is this high, why is this high, why is this high? Well, there's your explanation, look right over there.
Yeah, I think that as a resident, of the city, that if we make these things, make people aware of it. For example, in the city of St. Louis, I remember that I bought a house and the sidewalk was kind of crumbling because a tree had grown up there 30 years prior to it. And I called the city and I said, I need to have this sidewalk replaced out here so my mother doesn't break her front teeth out getting in the car. And they said, oh, we'd be glad to fix that if you pay half. And I said, okay, it sounded like a fair deal, because they probably put the sidewalk in years ago and didn't charge anybody, but at this point, they're crumbling. And we know we have to replace a lot of sidewalks, so look, we're gonna replace it, but you pay half. Is there something like that we could do for this type of?
We already do that for citizens. I mean,
Yeah.
we offer to do it on part of the city and then we just bill them, costs, the labor in,
Okay. And so what are we trying to change then? Make it where they pay all of it if there's a problem with it, or?
It shows that, it's just changing the responsibility in section 1A, owner responsibilities. It's adding a few things, electrical boxes, grinder pumps, so electrical boxes, half these aren't even, I'm not even go there. Discharge lines, some of them, the valve, they don't shut off, we gotta tear them up, pull all that out. The grinders, yeah, I understand that the whole, grinder situation. They're old.
They are.
They're obsolete, but we have a new system, grinder system, which I think we put in about, 33%, I think you figured out now, that last time. Yeah, it's pretty, and some of them have been replaced previously with something else. But, all this stuff is listed as what we've been responsible all these years according to 420, because unless you can dictate and diag and rip all that up, well, whenever you pull the grinder up that's been rusted in, even Galvey's gonna rust probably within 2 years in aesthetic sewage. So, I mean, like I said, it's hard to do this. I know what they did back in the day, they were robbing the parks off and did what they could, but we're at that end. I mean, you can't even hardly get parts for these grinders anymore. And so, I mean, they're just,
Well, realistically, I mean, I've had properties here for 25 years, and I haven't really had to shell out any money in a significant way other than they have my grinder pumped out a couple of times and did some new water and stuff. So that's the reality of it. I don't know, with other residents, we had some exceptions, to that, I think. So going forward, if the pattern has been that we're not really spending that much, then it's probably a moot point. But if you did have something happen, then everything's on your nickel, from the connection all the way to your house, including digging, including a new line, all of it, right?
the core and the main hookup wouldn't be yours.
Yeah, this is a different situation. We're not tract homes. We're an old community, had different sized lots. Some people had acreage, some people had, but we did put the water system in, and the people in this town voted for that system, and what they voted for was that if we put it in, we're gonna take care of it for you. We never said you were gonna pay half of it and anything like that, but if we're gonna make some changes to it, which I think are fair changes, then we need to let people know we already have an awful big water rate, and we're aging infrastructure, and but I don't see why the city shouldn't be part owner of some of that damage in some of those areas. I really don't. The people didn't put
Yeah,
that
we
in
need the equipment to be able to do so,
Yeah.
or we'll buy Doc's tractor, we'll keep going on. I'm serious, we're wearing it out.
Well, the citizens of St. Mary's paid for the grinders at that time. I remember my parents paying $11,000 to have them grinders put in when it was first put in.
Who is the engineer?
Pardon me?
Who's the engineer?
I think the same one we got now, isn't it?
No, we don't have Charlie Ray because he's a scam artist.
Well, we knew that for years. Probably got rid of it,
Yeah, we got somebody that actually has credentials.
Yeah, well, that's good.
But anyway, I know what you're saying, but
The
Ronnie,
question being I got is, you saying you're gonna charge the citizens from the main all the way to their meter now.
if we
If
put
your main
in,
is on the other side of the street, that means that street is our responsibility as owners instead of yours.
from the cord, if we gotta dig it up anyway, discharge, I'm talking about water,
Right.
we can pull that through. There's a way to pull it from. They got-
Well, I just had that done.
Yeah. But also, I mean, if we put a new grinder system, these E1s have 2-year warranty in, and the guys are all certified through the company itself. As techs, we do it in-house versus having to pull in techs to pull it in, like, Vanderbinder or somebody else, so, but the problem is, all right, I understand the cost share, I really do. I paid for my own in total, but the city didn't take no responsibility, so should I get money back for mine that blew out? I mean, really, I could bring that point
I
up.
know exactly what you're saying. I just
You were there whenever it blew.
$100, $2,000, $2,500 for water bills and broken main
You know,
was on my side. I know exactly what you're
Cause I had an excavator there and everything else, and you were there whenever it busted, and then they tried telling me
Yep, I remember
after
that.
they packed it,
Matter of fact, I helped put it in.
cause I mean, there was, and Frankie was there too.
The same way as,
Well, and my other point is with this is take for instance, and I'm not picking on nobody, but like the church down there, dude, up, all them houses along there, that water main's up on 4th Street, your meter's all the way down there by the house.
Right.
So the thing about it is trying to get equipment in there to even dig that for one, not being rude, but then the other thing is too, is we're taking that many feet, of replacing all the way back to where that meter's at now. So take Adams, all them houses down through there, same way, drops off, comes off the street back there. So the thing about it is, when this is all set up and that's passed,
Yeah.
engineer, administrations, whatever, handshakes, whatever, and, you know, past situations. But the thing that it is technically in my reality on that too, and it's not just benefiting me, it's not benefiting you guys, it's benefiting anybody that runs this town, because when we do GPSing, if they're all in a line down through there, so much easier. We know, okay, these water meters are all the same distance and running down through.
Close to it.
And then the other thing is too, is when we're reading meters. And I'm not saying, you know, I don't care about walking around, none of the guys care about walking around and reading meters. But the thing about it is, if they got a fence, dogs are inside this fence, you can't read them, because that is on that right of way. Anyways, you know, and if we on the city right of way to the property owner's right of way, they can't build a fence on that right of way, because it's within 10 foot. So that meter's there, a lot easier to go to, because I mean, I've been, not, you know, here, but been in yards where I jump through a fence and not even know, and here comes a pit bull after me. And here I am leaping over a fence, because I'm trying to get to the meter. And no, I mean, I know that dog's protecting his domains, but still, he didn't know. But the other situation is too, is if you look at our GPS map now, and versus some of the areas we already replaced water lines at in other towns, and doing that GPS map, you can sit here and it looks like a kid sketched it out. And you go to towns that we're putting this stuff in, and going to put it inside the property line, they all line up. And I mean, that's just, and that's any old town. I mean, all towns are basically the same.
Can I just hold for just a second? I just want to reiterate, I didn't lose anything here, but I guess my feeling is it the city's responsibility, or is it the city's fault that we put the main over here and that we built the house over there and we had to run the water over there to the house? I mean, should we have ran the mains closer to the houses, or while I know the mains of my property, you have to go underneath the drive to get the neighbor across over there, you know, my neighbor's house, because we only put the main there. And so all of a sudden, all this footage over their house, 20, 30 feet or whatever it is their responsibility on the other side of the drive, but that's where we put the main. So where do we have the responsibility of working together? It's an old town with an old infrastructure. Of course, this is a work session, so I just want to bring this up. And we're just as responsible as the homeowner. Nobody's done anything wrong here. The city just put one main and said you have to hook up to it. And we could, I just built my house over here. Can't you get the main a little closer? But so, just so that we're clear on things, I feel like personally, as an alderman for my ward, that we should split these costs. I don't think all of a sudden we should start saying you gotta line up all your meters because our.
No. That ain't what I'm getting at
I
right now.
agree with you though, if it's a conflict of interest, he's gonna put the meter, it should be on where the main's at, not in the person's yard.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
that's why I
mistake's
also,
already there.
That's just,
well, the mistake's already there, but they also didn't follow the contract right here, and they also ran the madman off for inspection. So who's at fault? The good old boys.
Yeah.
So, and
Remember those
here I
guys?
already applied for new infrastructure and lines anyways through a grant, for new meters and new lines, so I mean,
So if they're gonna change, put everything where the main is, or it's
well,
gonna
you'll
be-
get shorter, it'd be a shorter run. I mean, it'd be better copper, or it'd be PEX, it won't be copper probably.
But you're talking several billions of dollars to have that done.
Well, I don't know, I only got $500,000
But
like
you're gonna
that.
put each meter on that line and tap into each line where that,
You follow the route. It's a lot different than now. And I can go back and,
the
I mean,
main's a main, it's still the same.
really,
It really.
really.
I've worked on it many times, Adam.
Me too, and
You're preaching to the choir, you know, you don't understand, I've been here, I've been on this side of the table, and I understand what the rules are.
But why
I know
didn't
what
they,
you're trying to
okay,
say, but you're talking millions of dollars, buddy.
yeah, I know, and that's why there's only been, what, $500,000 here, $500,000 there, guys, right?
Yeah, you know,
But nobody did back then when you guys were on the board, but I sure did.
yeah.
So, but I just did that because we qualified. Because nobody else comes to me, but I'm just saying, the city shouldn't have to pay for everything.
But like Brian's saying, we need to come to
Then,
an equal.
Yeah, well, this is a horse and buggy town. I mean, you know, how you got up to my house was a horse and buggy. And,
and I'm also with Zen and filing a class action lawsuit against these people and the person that signed this contract, which everybody on there is pretty much dead. But, you know, because of shabby work, because I mean, so
Well,
we're all suffering really.
So, just, kind of dive in on this for a second.
Sure.
So one thing is the resident responsibility for all the connections, which I don't think any of us would be happy about. But there's this other facet to this, and that is that you're saying, and rightly so, that it's expensive to do all this stuff. And you're saying, yeah, it is, but I'm getting it done because he's gotten grants and stuff to start moving things forward for replacement of water and sewer, et cetera. So if everything works, then some of these problems would go away because we would have new lines put in. So therefore, our worries of having to dig up a potentially 70-foot water line are not, they're real concerns, but they may not be realistic because the likelihood of them happening are not that great.
yeah,
And the likelihood of them being replaced is pretty high from what we've been seeing in terms of what he's been able to accomplish. So, so to kind of connect all the dots on that stuff is the city is getting hurt by having to replace all the lines, therefore that's what makes it necessary. And in the short run, it may be necessary to have this in place to cover our expenditures for repairs of old systems. And at the same time, we have a more forward-moving plan to replace stuff, because Michael and these guys that have come in for engineering are probably a little bit more capable than what Charlie Gray's done. And then we still, given all the problems that's created with these late digging up lines and these squirrely, triple lines to one house and stuff, it's not okay that he got away with that stuff. And we, through our funding or whatever, have to pay for all that stuff, and are still paying for it. So it would be nice to make them accountable for what they did, because we are not the only ones that have been hurt like this.
but like Mr. Barnett said.
Quite remember, that was city marshal.
Yeah, can I just, I remember something too.
Yeah, I think.
Here we are, we got a loan, we passed a bond issue, a couple of $1 million to put a new water system in this town. And we put our mains everywhere, but not next to the houses. We put a main over there, and we put a main over there, and you're gonna have to hook up to it. And people had to hook up to it, because that's what we did. And so my feeling is, if I was a resident and voted for the bond issue and raised my water rates to cover the cost of everything, and you didn't put in the system that I could use, and something goes wrong, I think we should share the cost of it. I really think we should share the cost of it. Because remember, the people that are paying for the bond issue and the $2.5 million we need to put the new water system in are the residents of this town, not us.
Right, and it was all cast iron lines at that time,
Yeah.
and when they did it, they put it right down the middle of the road. It was right in the middle of the street. All your mains, your valves to shut off, everything was in the middle of the street. When you asked to pull over, you had to replace the taps and filled up.
Yeah.
Every year it did that.
So a young man comes along that works for the city and says, dang, they had to run a thing all the way over their house from that water main. Man, that should be the homeowner's responsibility. Well, really, if you were there when we did it.
Isn't that main on Third we just clipped, wasn't that like 8.8 feet into the middle of the road?
Right.
When it should have been on the edge according to the standards, yeah. And right
Here's
here,
our
it's
engineer.
1.3 million for, just so you want a statistic, I got everything here for water improvements. There's actually 3 alternatives we can do. The lowest is only 800,000. Because we
The
got-
engineer did that. That's the,
Yeah, but I'm saying what our engineer is utilizing was never been finished and what we have to pay for,
right?
That's what I'm getting at,
That's a good
Ronnie.
point.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So what
It's
they,
been out for years.
but now it's caught up. I mean, and we gotta we're bleeding money. I'm looking at, this is all the engineering and profit and loss.
But the other thing is, I think the way that reads, and which I don't know if I got you all the documents on that, ordinance, but the thing about it is we actually serve from the main to a foot inside the property. So anyway, we actually serve, that's where that meter would sit. So anything at that court, going across that road should be our maintenance, our maintaining. But I'm talking about when the meter is way up there, you know.
Like next to the house.
Yeah, I mean, like right next to your house like that, or
Yeah.
anything. And, I mean, a foot inside the property line, so basically, you're actually gaining, and like we did over here on Cedar Street. So we have the main, we went from the main through the ditch, which the city basically has it right away of that ditch. And anyways, which you maintain it all the way to that roadway mowing and stuff, but the city right away, so we went past that and put that meter set.
Is there a lot to correcting the situation where we're at, Mr. Mayor? I mean, the thing is, maybe we should look at grants or loans to try to make things better.
I've already done that. I responded.
That's what he's doing now.
It's like right here. It's 100 pages if you want me to print it out.
No, and what I'm saying is, put that proposal together for our residents, so,
Well, that's what that bond's for. That bond is not, it's to apply for $7 million in grant based on our household median income has dropped because we did another study. But it's not, and Michael will be here to have a town meeting, the engineer, the head guy, or Bob.
Right.
But he's gonna explain the different alternatives and what, if that bond passes, what they can do, what 3 options. And then if it passes, what the benefits of passing, which would be lowering the rates, because that bond will take precedent to upgrading to everything else.
Basically, you have to start off by putting in a new ordinance to have that done before any other residence can built, put in.
You mean like a new build?
If you have a new build, and somebody building a new resident coming in, you need to have it written up in your ordinance.
I think it does have that on a later amendment they did back
Well,
in
it's
the
not too
80s.
late though, yeah.
But it's probably not up to par,
Right.
but this right here, I'm talking water-wise, that's just water, and then it goes for sewer too, because there's so many inconsistencies. That's the problem, Ronnie, and it's not your fault, it's not mine. I pay the same thing as you do.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, Doc, I understand what you and everybody thinks, but I've watched what we go through, and it's, everybody wonders, this is money, it costs a lot of money.
yeah,
Well, the city's always been in the red since I was on the board.
all cities are.
Never have, you know.
It's a-
keep things in.
That's what cities do, we have to
You'll
manage.
find out when I amended and what report we got back from the Secretary of State's investigative findings of the previous administration spending, you'll find out why. But that's what I'm saying, huh?
That's been going on since Peanut Swint was here.
This actually was a thorough 2-year investigation, so, through every check, so.
And it
anyhow.
should be.
And it was, as soon as I took
But as
office.
far as there ain't another one.
There is. But anyways, but I agree, Brian, on some of the half, but if it's a new line we already did, I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, because PEX, I mean,
I'm talking about the aging infrastructure
Yeah.
of the town, and what some people think they bought when they bought their house, you know?
yeah, I mean,
And, so, but I admire you for what you're working with these grants and with putting this stuff together in a package. I just didn't want us to have some kind of fire in the city. This is a work session, so we're talking about possibilities of what we can do to harvest money and fix things. And I think your master plan here with the new engineer y'all have been talking to is a great move. I'm just thinking that maybe we shouldn't do any big announcements unless every year we're gonna have this kind of work done. And that's gonna be just part of our managing of the city. And, until we get something else in here.
well, yeah. And we were doing good for a while, what, a year? I mean, this first year we did 10 lines and saved about 1.2 million gallons of water loss that we were taking on. So, I mean, that's a start.
Yeah,
I mean, it takes steps, but then when you get these crucial areas, and I love Doc Strecker, that the power pumpkin does wonders, but it can only do so much.
yeah.
And I'm saying, one of these days, we're gonna get in a storm to rent down Cape is $2,000 for 2 days. So be ready for it. I mean, I'm just saying that me and Eric fixed that leak if it wasn't for jokers helping us out for free. We'd be hand digging it forever. I mean, and then you don't put clean rock on copper because electrolysis.
Yeah.
It's not what you bed line with. I mean, it don't make sense. And yes, it's aggravating. I live this, I hear about it all the time. And I'm sure maybe some of you guys do, but you know, I'm doing my best with working with engineers, trying to figure out the best plan.
Well, we're constantly gonna be putting out fires. I just don't think that we should have our residents put the fire out completely by themselves.
No, but I think the new grinders, it's like when a resident keeps tearing up, I think that's part of the ordinance, and it does say,
Yeah.
if it's foreign objects,
That's an existing ordinance.
that is already existing increases, and goes with the Federal Pollution Act of 1974, and you already know what I'm talking about, because
In there,
nothing.
we talked about the downflow system and everything.
So that's a solid thing.
And that person was rising in here tonight because they got their bill, because, I mean, was it fourth grinder? Brand new one of these E1s, and we gotta rebuild another one. But, you know, nobody knows who done it. There's only 12 people probably, I don't know, I don't know, I'm just getting aggravated because, and they get hostile towards the employees, that's another thing.
Yeah. Well, are all of these sections that we have are all new or changed or adjusted?
It's just 1A.
It's just 1A, okay. Because as I read through this, I see, you know, emergency repairs, you're responsible for those. I mean, you know, we're gonna help you out, you know, you're responsible too. You need to call us and let us know. There's a lot of fairness in this that we already
Yeah,
have.
it was just, 1A was just adding to it, just saying if it was within the right of way, and then we didn't have what we, back then what we do now. Like,
And so, yeah, we just need, I would say, I would be comfortable with taking that out.
you know, because, well, we shouldn't be responsible for the laterals coming out of the house, or the wet well grinders, if they're new, unless it's under warranty, which they have a 2-year warranty, and we shouldn't have to eat that cost. I mean, really. But it's existing.
That's not what's happening mostly, is it? That we have.
It's starting to be an issue. But, I mean, even electrical boxes, some people are taking it upon themselves to break our tamper seals and think they can fix things. So, or tampering with it. So, I mean, you know, it goes both ways. And I'm okay with splitting that. I don't know, Frankie, what's your, any objection to that?
On which part?
Any of it?
Well, I mean, kind of hard to, I mean, it's just kind of hard to throw it out there. I mean, the new grinders, we put a new control panel in, and if it gets tore up, yeah, that's the cost on the resident. I mean, if it's legit tore up because of misuse, I should say, and putting foreign objects that shouldn't be, and which I know the collector and stuff, I know we have paperwork that says, you know, whenever somebody comes in, moves in a household or anything like that, it shows on that paper what you can flush, what you can't flush.
Yeah.
The whole name. But a lot of people just, you know, I think throw it in the trash sometimes. But my thing about it is with the residents knowing, hey, got a new pump or whatever, and that's not, you know, picking on nobody. That's including me too, like, you know, ever get a new pump. But when you go to each individual resident in town and you open up a grinder, you already know where it's gonna go. You already, yeah, I mean, just look down in there, you already know the mishap's gonna happen. You know, people just pouring pure grease down there, or throwing women products, male products, you know, hygiene products, all down the drain. These grinders, yeah, I mean, the E1 can eat up a soda can. It can eat up a set of blue jeans. But that's just a test to show you what that plate can actually do. That's not what it can do. It can save you. But the thing about it is with these new pumps, I mean, we're sitting here putting them in now. I mean, if you got no pump, we're working on it, we get it going, and we gotta come back to it another month later or whatever, okay, I think. But when it comes down to just these grinders, and they're not even been, the grinder wasn't even in the pit for a week or two. And we had to start, you know, changing things, changing stators on them and stuff. When the stators get stuff in them, which baby wipes or anything, I mean, y'all probably know about flushable wipes. They say flushable. Yeah, you can flush them, but these systems is not like that.
Like you said, the resident that buys that house or gets a list of those things, and I don't think we need to address all of those issues this evening. I just think that if it's broken, we should get it fixed. If it's something they didn't break it, they can fix it. And if it's something that's pre-existing, that's old, we should look at sharing the cost on those things. And until we get a comprehensive project going that repairs those differences between our properties, one to the other. But anyway, are we voting on this at our next meeting as far as the changes to this?
I just wanted you guys to be aware. I put it on there if you guys agree, but we can change it and do it the next time. I mean, it's not going anywhere. We're still where we're at.
Yeah, there's a work session I just brought up. I don't think anybody should vote the way I talk or the way I.
No, I think maybe we all can come to consensus of something. I mean, because it's just not,
Yeah.
I mean, we moved that one closer where it's even, you know, and plus the meter readers aren't going all the way up in.
Yeah.
But, yeah, what time we got? Alright, let's pass that other one. Which one is that? Is that just adding?
2604, it's the meeting schedule.
Oh, it's just adding where meetings can be rescheduled or canceled. And, yeah, mayor clerk to aldermen in unforeseen circumstances that affect the availability of the forum. That's all that is.
We had discussed at our last meeting this, and we talked about having our regular meetings on a regular day that we all agreed to have them on, because, some people work on a Tuesday night or a Thursday night. You can't be an alderman if you work that night and as an operator, or, you work at a hospital as a nurse on that shift, so you can't be an alderman. So, and I understand that, but we can't use that for an excuse not to come to a meeting. I'm sorry, I'm a nurse at the hospital on Thursday nights. Well, we either need to move that date so we can have that alderman here, but we need everybody here on a particular date during the week. Is that something we can?
Yes, Tuesday.
Tuesday, and going forward, that's the way it's gonna be, so we can all make sure that we're available on Tuesdays. Thursday, can't be Thursday. I don't care either. I'm just saying, is that what we're trying to agree on, is what date?
Yeah, whatever works for everybody. That way we're not going against our statute that's already in the meeting procedures.
Yeah.
Where you can add it in there, but at the discretion, if there's, so you have a quorum, say, somebody's sick or this, or can't make it legitimately, or like, Thursdays for you, then, because right now the way it's set, it says we have to have it, boom, that's it. But it can be rescheduled because of something like that. That just gives us more leniency on that, so we're within that scope. They don't have to be voted on, you can look at it now, I mean, we can always add that later too. So, I mean, just take a look at it, see what you think.
All right.
Because it's an older ordinance too, all right. Anything else from you guys that maybe during the work session part, other than, when do you want to have the next bond issue where Mike comes up? Want Mike to come up here soon, that after the bond's getting him, I'd like to do a mail out, he can explain what it does for everybody and bring money. So,
That'd be helpful.
so if everybody wants to get like a schedule, we'll do a, town meeting. They can come if they want to. I'll mail out some pamphlets exactly what it's gonna do and how we can deal with this bond, which is different from this other bond, how it's managed, obviously.
getting the message out to the residents in enough time where they can make it would be good. Maybe a 30-day notice might help. I mean, I'd like to get the guy in this week, you know?
He can do it anytime.
Yeah, but to prepare him and then prepare the membership and, I mean, the residents, and pick a location like the CMA or something like that, where it's a neutral spot where everybody can sit down and enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
It'd be good to get everybody together as a town. Those meetings are fun. But we want everybody to come all and discuss a good thing that's gonna happen for the city.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be promoted, because there's nothing bad about it. It's all good. But I think a location other than here, and somebody to arrange that, would that be the city clerk that would arrange the location? And
Either one, or I can reach out to the president of CMA,
yeah.
which is Lee Bond.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then this guy's qualifications and what we have him here for, and what you've been working on, and
Yeah.
being that message that gets out to everybody. If you need help with that mailing, give me a call and
We'll be doing probably the stuffers again.
stuff.
Yeah, definitely stuff. But yeah, because it's kind of more of a simplified and what it's gonna do if it passes. If it don't, then guess what?
Yeah,
That's what's gonna happen. It's already been announced by Missouri Rural Water, Delta Regional Authority, there's no ands, if, or buts about it. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you guys, I mean, on that. He'll tell you the same thing. I mean, that's why we're looking at 3 perspectives of what we can do, and this has taken 6 months to create, and it's a huge breakdown of formulation. Going off the old system, and it's just not right. That's why we got things that weren't used, we can use, and that'll save us several $100,000, so. But if you guys don't have anything else, if anybody needs a slight recess real quick, go to the bathroom, we make just close this motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned, the work session, the motion seconded by
Brian.
Alderman Helms. All in favor?